And that's why I shout Nigel Quasi at the point of climax.
Fair enough.
Hello and welcome to the Phil Shy podcast. I'm Peter Bells. With me as always, the nice man comedy Paddy Linton.
Hello.
We're back and bigger than ever. I mean, in my case, quite literally, because the only thing as bad as my gym going recently is my beer consumption. But how you been anyway, Paddy?
I'm a wee fat guy and all. It's all right.
It's not what I meant. How you been? How's your week gone?
Good, mate. Just been through at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. Just selling my soul for like £6.80 in a bucket at the end of it. It's been all right.
Yeah. The show's been going good though.
The show's been chaotic. But good, aye.
Ian Priggle's got a mullet now. That's something I noticed. This might not be of use to you, but you know. But
he spent so much time in Australia, he started to look like one.
Let's hope he's not adopted anything else from their culture in this video.
What about you? How's your week been, mate?
I went back. I've seen, obviously, I've got bigger, but I have went back to the gym for the past 2 days. Used the crunch machine so you can do weighted crunches, and it hurts when I sneeze now. So
I know. I mean, you're doing it right.
Yeah, but it's not brilliant. But anyway, we'll start talking about football. Transfer window's open. It's been quite busy already. I'd say that Manchester United and West Ham have probably done the best business so far, but we'll get into that a bit later. The biggest transfer so far has been Dominic Solanke.
Yeah.
£65 million for one good season.
Yep.
Is this destined for failure? What do you think about this?
No, mate, I think he's got to be a good signing.
I think you're off your hoop, man.
Off your hoop.
It's not a phrase, but mate,
I've got hemorrhoids and I need a hoop to sit down.
I didn't have hemorrhoids getting a mention less than 5 minutes in.
After sitting like a wee inflatable round.
Paddy's 76 years old. Yeah, I think like he's had one good season at Bournemouth, and it seemed to be because Iraola was a really good match for him. But every time he's been at a big club before that, he's been kind of shite.
He was at Liverpool, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was at Liverpool and he was at Chelsea. Granted, he was a lot younger back then, but I think this is a huge risk. Obviously, there's English tax because he's an England striker and because it's a transfer between two English teams. But I think this is an awfully big risk.
It makes you wonder how much would Ollie Watkins cost because he actually plays for England.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
But I would think it mental if anyone spent more than 70 million on him, and they've only paid 5 million less for Dominic Solanke. So I don't know. I think that's a big risk for Spurs, but we'll see how it goes. Arsenal have had the most departures with 30 players leaving.
30?
Aye. Some are on loan.
Was it all like youth players?
So a lot of them are youth academy, youth squad players, and some of them are on loan. But the likes of Watch Me Whip, Watch Me El Neni, he's gone. Cedric Suarez, who I forgot was still at the club, to be honest with you, and a few others. Like I think Deadwood sounds harsh, but I think he's just trying to get rid of the players he's not going to need.
Maybe the pickpockets he hired went mental and started stealing youth players as well.
Yeah,
like I want to get into this straight away. By the way,
so we're going to take a pause from the transfer stuff to talk about how you might not have seen this, guys, but Mikel Arteta, when the players were all having dinner somewhere, hired a pickpocket. Or a group of pickpockets to go in and steal stuff from the Arsenal players' pockets. And then he showed them it all in a big pile at the end of the dinner and said, you've always got to be alert. And obviously this just makes Paddy hate me even more.
Mate, I hate it. Like, because like, you're pure like, oh, you need to be alert. It's a fucking team dinner. Like,
well,
they don't need to be alert at team dinners. You need to be alert on a pitch. I ain't to bother. But it's another pure David Brent thing. Like, I hate it so much.
Hey, if it wins the league, I'm the worst. Like I couldn't give a shit.
I want to know how he managed to like get these pickpockets. Like, is there a service? Like, is there a website you can go and like hire a pickpocket.com? And then like, how much did it cost? That costs money.
The other thing I would say about it though is, see if you're a player and that's happened to you, could you then like call the police?
Put a claim in.
And like, no, genuinely, could you? Because obviously it's been arranged by Mikel Arteta, but he's not told you. So to you, you've just had your stuff robbed.
Aye, and then is Mikel Arteta, would he get to jail for that? I think that'd be class. Like spending a night in Bird Street.
Mate, he was barely even at Rangers. Why are you this angry about Mikel Arteta?
It's just it's all the David Brent stuff, mate. I'll keep going back to like Thomas Edison invented the light bulb.
He did.
But the light bulb is nothing without connection. And plugs it in, and all the players are like, whoa, as if they've not seen a fucking light getting switched on before.
Hey, if it works, it works.
It didn't work though. Didn't win in.
They won an FA Cup recently. What have Newcastle won?
Well,
the championship. I think they've got a good chance this season. So if all his mental fucking insane stupid plans work, then I don't care. He can keep doing them.
But he needs to outdo himself again. What's he going to do next? Like kidnap somebody in the middle of the night? Murder somebody's family. You need to protect the back four at all times.
Kidnap somebody's family.
Aye.
Don't do that, Michael. I know you're a big fan. Southampton have brought the most players in.
Yep.
They brought in 14 players and an actor, weirdly. So 14 footballers and then this young actor called Ben Brereton Diaz. So
what do you mean he's an actor?
Well, did you not see him at the weekend?
Oh, aye, the Newcastle game, aye.
I thought that'd be fresh in your head.
Aye.
Again, we'll get into that a bit later. But Villa, they brought in 11 players, but they're all actual footballers, so that's quite a good plan.
That's good business.
It's been mixed though that what Villa brought in. So they've signed a Nana from Everton, which is a good signing.
Aye,
especially with Douglas Luiz leaving.
Him and his missus left the first couple's transfer.
I mean, it'd be weird if like she was like, I'm just going to stay here.
Aye, but so they both of them went to
UV. Yeah, they both went to UV.
Aye,
Alicia
Lehman.
I mean, I don't know what the UV women's team is like, but I imagine they just pay their way to victory like the men's team do. Allegedly.
Right breasts, but only pay them 70% what they pay the male refs. That's terrible.
Hey, if more people went to watch the women's game, the women's rest would get bribed just as much as the men's ones. But they've also brought in a couple of 22-year-olds, one from Hull called Philogene. And my friend's a Hull fan, bizarrely. And he never used to watch football, and he decided that he was going to pick a team. And he saw their strip and liked it somehow.
I like Tigers.
He's gone full in, man. Like he's been down to watch them because he loves it. He's gone all in. But he was saying like he's like exciting and he is talented, but he needs to work on his end product. So, which is true of a lot of players that age. And he was incredible. He was kind of selfish as a player. Because obviously him in the championship, he's just trying to show how good he is rather than trying to get Hull to win. The other one was Ian Matson, who's a fullback. He's from Chelsea, 22 as well. And Chelsea sporting friend, yes, I've got two other friends. And he said that he tries to play like Alphonso Davies. I guarantee he won't be as good. But I don't know how he knows this because the guy's never played for Chelsea. So just one of their many loanees. But it looks like a decent enough window for Villa. But we'll see how the new boys settle in. West Ham and Man United, I said, had the best one.
Yeah.
So Luis Guilherme is 18-year-old Brazilian. I think they spent like 40 million on him, so he better come good. Mm-hmm. But the main ones, I think, are Max Kilman from Wolves, which is a good signing. A year after they made him their captain, so, you know, that's a big middle finger to Wolves. Obviously, he'd have worked with Lopetegui at Wolves, so they know each other. Somerville from Leeds.
Again, he was a standout last year.
Good young player. When they were in the Premier League, he looked decent, and he's been tearing up the Championship. Fulkrug.
I know, mate.
I know, yeah.
Throwback striker.
Aye, and again, decent. He's done decent for Germany. He did well in the Bundesliga, so wait till West Ham ruin him like they do every other striker.
Puts his sell about.
Aye, that's one way. That's the West Ham way, though.
Yeah, just put your sell about.
Todibo, again, very good. And that's a loan with an option to buy because it's only a loan at the moment. And then Wan-Bissaka, who again, for that level, I think is a really, really good signing. So they have a decent squad this year. And I think they'll do all right, you know. Man United as well, they did some good business. In fact, no, I might say West Ham did ruin it slightly.
Why?
Because they bought Wes, what's the goalie doing, Fotheringham as well.
Did they? I love that you called him Wes, what's the goalie doing, Fotheringham. He's a shocking goalkeeper. Like, he's got the record for most goals conceded in a season.
Yeah. To be fair, he was in Sheffield United.
I know, but still, man.
A lot of those goals were his fault. It should be said, yeah. Also, I might say, actually, Villa did bring in one very questionable signing, and that is Ross Barkley. Like, I know he did well for Luton last season, but they're in the Champions
Aye.
League. Like, I can only imagine he's going to be a squad player just for
English tax.
Aye. Also, yeah, because they'll need a number of players
Homegrown.
homegrown. So that'll be it. What do you think about West Ham's business then? Do you think they'll do all right?
Aye, but a West Ham, man, they're always just going to be 8th, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Aye. But to be fair, if you're a West Ham fan, you got to take 8th.
Aye.
You got to be happy with that. I mean, they played all right at the weekend there as well. So I mean, I think they should be. I think they should be quite content with it. Man U, the biggest signing they made the Saturday, like notoriety wise, that's the wrong word. Fame wise, would be Matthias de Ligt.
Yeah.
I think that's a brilliant signing.
Aye.
He's never quite lived up to his potential since leaving Ajax. He was all right at Juve, he did decent enough, but at Bayern, he just didn't suit the system.
Aye, he didn't play a lot, did he?
Yeah, it's weird. You would have thought like him and Upamecano would have been a really good partnership together. Like, it's an FM player's wet dream. Like, you know, 2019, everybody would have wanted to sign those two players to play alongside each other because of their age, but it just didn't work out for them, and they brought in Eric Dyer. I mean, that's worrying. If Eric Dyer's coming in and taking your spot. Man. But I think it's a really good signing for them.
Aye.
Because he's a leader as well. And that's something they've sorely needed at the back. So I think he's a good signing. Obviously, he's worked with Ten Hag, but
I can't believe that Eric Dyer's actually playing for Bayern.
I know.
I thought they only signed him to play Guess Who with Harry Kane. Do you know what I mean? Like, keep him company.
I think that's why they brought him in the first place. But then he actually, I think, must have just been putting in a lot of effort or something like that. And they're like, or De Ligt said something to piss off. Who's in charge of Bayern now?
Oh, fuck me. Their manager changes every 6 months.
That is true.
It was Tuchel, isn't it?
It is Tuchel, yeah. Although, is he leaving? God knows.
It's
fucking company now.
Oh, so it is. Aye. Oh, aye.
How did we forget that chaos, man? So I don't know if he did something to piss people off over there, but he's at Man United, and hopefully they'll be hoping he can find that Ajax for him again. Who else have they brought in?
Zirkzee.
Joshua Zirkzee, who's not a proven goal scorer, by the way. Like, he had a very good season for Bologna. But that's not his role. He's not like an out-and-out number 9 that's just going to score you 20 goals a season.
Aye.
But, they'll be hoping he does. And he got a goal at the weekend, so maybe he'll live up to that promise. But I think he's just in to relieve a bit of pressure on Højlund, because if he doesn't score, they rely on Fernandes, and he can be a stroppy wee cunt at times.
I like him. I rate him. I think he's fucking class.
He's a brilliant footballer, but I just hate him as a human. You know, I like his talent. It's just who he is as a person.
Just a green face cunt.
They also brought in Mazraoui from Bayern.
Aye, fullback.
He can play either left back or right back, and bear in mind how often Luke Shaw's injured, and the fact they just sold Wan-Bissaka, that makes perfect sense.
Aye.
But they'll be disappointed to know he can't do both at the same time. The main person they're still missing though is a centre defensive midfielder for them.
Aye.
So they're interested in Ugarte from PSG, but he's going to cost a fortune. They're still, I think they're trying to do a loan to buy thing just now so they can pay for him next year.
Aye.
But PSG are like, nah. He wants to go, PSG want to sell him, and Man United want to buy him, but PSG want money now, and Man U want to pay next year.
Aye, because they've spent a fortune already.
Yeah, it's over 140 million.
And it's not like they can sell anybody. Nobody's got to buy Rashford, do they?
Well, McTominay's potentially going, but he's not going to go for anywhere near enough to fund the move for Ugarte.
Aye.
And are they selling anyone else? No, I mean, Varane's gone for free, so his wages are now
gone.
Yeah, so potentially, I just don't think they'll get enough for McTominay. But that's why, so Fulham have made a bid for McTominay, and Man U have said that's not enough. So I think they're going to try and push that as high as they can. The other player they're looking at is Sander Berge from Burnley.
Aye.
But Fulham have also put in a bid for him.
So they're competing with themselves? What are they talking about?
So Fulham want McTominay or Berge.
Aye.
And whatever one they get, they'll be happy with. But there is a real chance. Man U aren't bidding for Berge right now because they're still Ugarte is their main focus.
Aye.
So there is a chance that they don't get Ugarte because they're not willing to pay all that. And then they miss out on McTominay because Fulham took him. And that's a really weird world we'll be living in where Man United lose a player to Fulham.
Aye.
It's bizarre. It's the position they've got themselves into. They've also signed the very young centre-back, Lenny Yoro, who instantly got injured and is out for 3 months in a pre-season friendly.
Dynamite.
But apparently they knew he had a metatarsal problem when they signed him, which is like, well, why did you play him then?
I think if it's like an 18-year-old player, like with that kind of injury, they'll recover. Do you know what I mean? It's not like he's 38.
No, but still, don't sign a player with a known injury.
He's not going to start, is he?
I don't get me wrong, it's not as bad as like Arsenal signing Kim Kallstrom with a broken back.
Aye.
Like, how did he pass that medical? In fact, who ran the medical? Stephen Hawking. Just like, he looks fine to me.
He looks alright.
Honestly, man.
Cut angle of Arsenal.
It did get me thinking though about what's the worst transfer in Premier League history?
Oh, the worst one, you've already wrote it down, but like,
What one?
the one with Graham Souness where he get conned.
Oh, Ali Dia, yeah. We'll get into
that was
that.
amazing.
We'll get into that a bit later because I did want to discuss a few others. So I think from our era, obviously there's things like Danny Drinkwater to Chelsea because his career just bombed after
He
that.
didn't drink water, he drank loads of vodka and fought with nightclub bouncers.
And it's now, what is he, a brickie or something like that?
I think so, aye.
Well, fair play to you, man. You know,
Driving an Uber.
get your bag. Kepa,
Aye.
that's got to be
How much did he cost? 80 million?
£71 million or something like that, which I was a record for a
The
goalkeeper.
only memorable thing he did was refuse to be subbed off.
Get wide with Saturday, that's all. Which is but a brave thing to do, man. Get wide with a mad Italian who's literally standing on the touchline
Aye.
chewing cigarettes.
The guy eats now.
That's a real thing. He did eat cigarettes because he
Kepa.
wasn't allowed to smoke in British stadiums. Jack Rodwell, Sunderland to Man City. I think that's got to be one of the worst ones.
Aye.
But aside from the Ali Dyer one, which we'll get into and explain to you in a little bit, I think it could be Alexis Sanchez going to Man United and Henrik Mkhitaryan going the other way.
Aye.
Because Sanchez, I think they paid like 35 million plus Mkhitaryan for Sanchez, and he was just dog shit at Man
There's a
United.
few others as well, like Andy Carroll. to
Yeah,
Liverpool.
that was bad. Because 35 million at the time was
Massive.
like biblical. Like,
And
that was an insane
At the
amount of money.
same time, Torres gone to Chelsea for 50 million.
But he did win them, arguably won them the Champions League. So
Aye, scored in the semi-final.
does that to put them through and made Gary Neville have an orgasm? So I think we can all appreciate that. That's good for everybody. But yeah, the Halley Dyer thing. So that's he is a footballer, but he's not a footballer. Right, so he had a 9-year career in football in which he played for, I think it was 12 clubs.
Yep.
Do you want to guess how many appearances a league appearance he made in that 9-year career?
7.
Yeah, I mean, you're lowballed it a bit, but it's 28.
28.
Yeah.
So he's averaging, what, 3 a season?
Yeah, something like that.
3 a year?
It's insane. Scoring 4 goals in that time, which is amazing when, bear in mind, he's not really a footballer, you know. So what he managed to do is when Graham Souness was in charge of Southampton, which in itself is a sentence that makes no sense at all.
Aye.
He convinced Souness that he was George Weah, the current Ballon d'Or winner's cousin.
Aye.
And it just says everything about 90s at the time. The fact that he was like, well, he's African, they must be cousins, despite the fact that Diaz from Senegal and George Weah's from Liberia. They're like, no, yeah, I mean, yeah, you must be cousins.
Must be cousins.
You must be cousins.
Must be cousins.
And so he got in on a trial basis, and he was subbed on, and then later on in the game, he was subbed off again, and his contract was ended within 14 days.
Aye.
So
he was on for like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And it quickly became apparent this guy can't play football.
Yeah.
Like, unbelievable. Like, how does that ever happen? Like, how does he get near the first team? Like, why would you put him on the pitch if you hadn't even seen him train?
Yeah, I mean, that might have been the inspiration.
Like, because he would have got fun out within 10 minutes of a training session.
Oh, aye, yeah.
Like, the day 2 rondos, and they'd be like, this guy can't kick a ball.
Like, see, if I even try to get into Pollock FC, I would stand out as he doesn't know what he's fucking doing.
Exactly, never mind the Premier League.
Never mind the Premier League. And Southampton at times, it was the 90s. Letizia would have probably been there before he went all mental by polishing beans and putting a tinfoil hat on, when he was a really, really good footballer. So, no, it's insane. It's insane. And possibly the inspiration for, who's the guy who plays Lee Nelson? Mind when he pretended to be a footballer and it was it the England squad he got into or something like that? Until and he was like training with him until somebody was like, who the hell is that guy? Fair play to him. Okay, so we'll go on to some transfer rumours that are going around at the moment. Obviously, Sterling at the weekend was left out of the squad.
Yep.
And his representatives have come out and said, we want to know where we stand, because apparently Maresca had said during the summer, you're in my plans, you're an important player for us. And obviously he was left out of the squad. Yeah. Although I think I've got a list of...
his wages are like 300 grand a week though.
Exactly. I think I've got a list of the players that were left out of that squad. So left out of the match day squad at the weekend there was 23 Chelsea players in the team that didn't make it into that squad. That shows how bloated their squad is. Because I think, it's a 25-man squad you can get?
Yep.
So they've got 23 players. It includes Axel Disasi, Sterling, Chalobah, Chukwuemeka, Conor Gallagher. Obviously, Reece James is injured because he's always injured. Aye. But you've got Romelu Lukaku in there. Kepa's still on Chelsea's books.
Yeah.
That's insane. Broja, Datro Fofana. Like, there's names in there.
How can they keep doing it? Like,
mate, that's not even the end of it. They're very close to completing the deal for João Felix.
For how much?
42 rising to 46 million.
How did he get run it?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I was going to go into this later, but we might as well do it now, actually. So I've got a photo here. So this is the money spent on transfer fees of all time in English football. So Chelsea are top of that list, with 3.87 billion. But 10th on this list is Chelsea under Todd Bowley. He's been in charge for 2 years, and they have spent more money than Everton, who have been in the Premier League since its inception.
Aye,
and
for 30 odd year.
And Leeds United, who spent so much money, they were relegated for doing so. Like, they are 10th, just behind West Ham, and not by a lot.
They've spent $1 billion in 2 years.
1.32 billion euros.
God.
I think that's euros, yeah. So 1.32 billion euros they spent in 2 years. And yet, financially compliant. How the fuck? How... They've got 45 players just now, and they're going to bring in another
they're on
one.
like pure 12-year deals and stuff.
Well, yeah, so this is going to be, I think it was a 5-year contract with an option for a 6. So, I don't know. And they're also interested in bringing in another striker at the moment, so we'll see how that goes. They are looking to move on Lukaku. Napoli want him a loan option to buy.
Aye.
And that makes sense because Conte is there, and he always seems to get the best out of Lukaku, so I think that deal makes sense for everybody. But selling Lukaku is not going to balance their books.
Unless you get 1.3 billion for him.
Yeah. And even at his very best, I don't think I'd pay that, I don't think I'd pay that. Who else? But what Felix coming in will do is free up Gallagher to go the other way, so he can actually go and play for Atletico Madrid. And again, this is part of the problem, I think, with this ruling that they have now, where if you're a homegrown player and you get sold, it's counted as pure profit, regardless of the fact that you've been paying wages for them the entire time they've been at the club. It's just when it comes to financial fair play, that's viewed in PSR, that's viewed as pure profit, whatever you sell them for some reason.
So do they have to come through your academy? Aye.
Yeah. That's just so it's counted pure profit, even though you've been paying them this whole time.
Yeah.
But all that does is incentivize selling homegrown talent.
Aye.
And in favour of bringing in foreign, or not foreign players, just any player that aren't from your
foreigners
coming over here, stealing our Gallagher,
entertaining our fucking masses,
entertaining our masses and getting racially abused for it. But no, but I think that's part of the problem in modern football now, because like, you look at stories like Phil Foden and all that, and it's great. Obviously, City can do whatever they want financially as well. But the reason like Saka means so much to Arsenal isn't just because he's a brilliant player for Arsenal. It's because he came through the academy and he's one of their own. And like, I know it's a cliche thing to say, but people love a homegrown talent.
Yeah.
And now it just seems that the current rules are incentivized to get people to sell them on and not play them, which makes no sense to me. But
although I'm quite excited to see Conor Gallagher play for Diego Simeone.
oh, he's going to
become like the pure shit house of the Spanish
He's
league.
going to be he's going to turn out a Gattuso. Like we'll see him in like the Champions League next year. He's just going to be this henge, shaved head. Like
just
let's be posh Chelsea boys turned into
people, man.
Mate, I can't wait to see what Simeone does with him. But it'll be class. Arsenal are close to agreeing a deal for Mikel Merino, who the Spaniard who played in all 7 games of their Euro winning campaign.
Goal against Germany
in the semi-final, scored the winning goal. A good player. Obviously didn't start those because he's not going to displace Olmo, Fabian or Rodri, but he played a significant part in it, and I think it was a good signing. Only got a year left in his contract, so he shouldn't be that expensive. It all makes sense. If they can bring him in. And I think there's talk about Leroy Sané from Munich because, again, he's getting into the last year of his contract. Yeah,
fucking hell, that'd be a great signing.
Yeah, so I mean, if you get those two, I'd be delighted. Even just one of them, even if it is just Merino, I think I'd be pretty content with that. Especially if they free up a lot of the squad and sell a lot of players, because it should mean that if there's an injury crisis halfway through the season, in the winter transfer window, we can bring in more people. They've rejected a bid from Forest as well for Nketiah, 25 million. They want 30.
Is he worth 30?
Is Solanke worth 65?
Maybe.
Fuck it. He's an English player.
Yeah, true.
And also, like Marinakis is mad enough to pay that. So, I reckon it's one of those things. If they were selling to a club outside England, I don't think it'd cost that much.
Yeah.
Like, people are saying, oh, Gallagher's going for awfully cheap. Yeah, it's because he's not going to a rival club.
If he's got to Man City, it'd be 100 million.
If Spurs wanted him, because there was the rumours about that, he would never go that cheap. He'd never go that cheap. Ivan Toney looks like he's getting his move. But not to Arsenal, to Al Ali, is it? Al Ali in the city. Right. We've already tread that line a bit close today, Paddy. No, it is Al Ali for 50 million, despite the fact he's got 1 year left in his contract.
And he'll be getting paid about 340 grand a week tax free.
He's just got so much money. Do you want to sponsor the pod, guys? Like, seriously, just chuck us 10 grand. That's like 50p to use, honestly. But Chelsea are considering making a move to try and steal him as well. So it's insane, man. I don't know how they're doing it. Brighton have made a formal bid for Matt O'Reilly from Celtic. You don't want him. He's shite, honestly. Next summer he'll be brilliant. You can come get him then. But right now, honestly, just leave him alone. So apparently it's going to be for a Scottish record fee, which will make it more than the 25 million for Tierney and Jota. So
yeah,
I think if it was 30 million, Celtic would be like, we can't really turn that down.
We can't turn that down.
So
like, even if we're like, it's rumoured that we've already turned down 25.
Yeah,
which it's pretty ballsy for Celtic.
No, they've made it clear that they want a record fee. This has to be like the most anyone's paid for any of our players. Because if you look at him, really, he is more important to Celtic than what Jota was to Celtic. Maybe not more than Tierney, but interest. People are going to be more expensive now. They're looking at him because Gilmore might be off, which I think is just insane. Just keep Gilmore.
Yeah.
And let us have our player, please. just
where's Gilmore gonna go?
I think it was somewhere in Italy. It might be Napoli or somewhere like that. But yeah, I think they're looking. I'm sure it was a club in Italy.
Remember when he went to Norwich on loan? And he would refuse to touch the green bit of the scarf because it's a green and yellow scarf because he's staunch.
Yeah,
I rate that level of pettiness.
See, people might not know this if they've only seen him for Chelsea, but he was a Rangers Academy graduate that Chelsea stabbed up very early on, and that's why he wouldn't touch the green.
Yeah, mate. Like, I rate that. Like I used to tip X at the Union Jack, my Reeboks Classics. We all did. Because I like the shoe.
I respect that pettiness, man. I'm here for it. Any other Anderson could be going to Fulham. Which way? I mean, if they got like McTominay or Berger, Anderson, Emile Smith Rowe, that's a pretty good window for Fulham. Like that should steer them well clear of relegation.
Still get Calvin Bassey.
Yeah, they do. That's true. That's true.
He's horrific. Did you see the mistake he made towards the end of the Man U game?
I only caught
when he came out and just swiped, missed the ball completely, and Rashford went in behind, and then Garnacho missed a sitter.
Oh yeah,
that was him that ran out and swiped.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I do remember Garnacho.
He's howling, man.
He's howling.
Yes, he's honking.
As for Newcastle, they've got their heart set on Gahey.
Yep.
4 bids rejected. Do you think they'll go back in, or do you think they'll?
I think they'll keep going. Not really making as many moves, but I suppose if they can keep Bruno and Isak and Tonali coming back, I'd be pretty happy with that. Like, I don't think they need to. Like, they've got enough strength to like challenge for 4th place, which is what they should be aiming for.
What I'd say though is, if you're really desperate for another centre back, there's a lot of good free agents there now. Joe Matip's a free agent.
Is he?
Aye.
I'll get him on the phone.
I'm not. This is aimed at the wrong person. But like, if that deal's not going to work, Joe Matip is obviously he's a bit older. You're not going to get the life of him. He's 33, but he'd do that job.
Aye.
And I think especially with Shar being out for a couple of games now, he's an improvement on at least depth wise of what you got. Although I can see him just ending up in Saudi probably. Mats Hummels, I think, is also a free agent now. There's a couple of other like decent players. Adrian Rabiot, Hermoso, and Depay are all free agents at the moment. Like,
take Depay.
Aye, because he would definitely give you something else up front as well. And it's not like you couldn't afford his wages, so why not?
Although that stupid haircut, like at the Euros when he was wearing the headband. That done my head in.
You used to have Alan St. Maximin. Not that I can speak. We had Gervinho, who I'm not convinced any of that was his hair.
He was a coconut-headed Martian. One of my mates called him that years ago because I think he had him as a bet or something to score first, and he missed a sitter. We're all sitting in the pub, and he's like, "Oh fuck's sake, Gervinho, you mad fucking coconut-headed Martian," and it murdered, and it's always stuck with me.
Fucking that's brilliant.
Yes, the man. His hairline started back here.
Aye. I mean, I'm not sure it did. I'm not sure that wasn't just part of the hairband he was wearing. But aye, fucking hell. What else? We'll go on to some other football news rather than just transfer stuff, because that's all the main stuff anyway. Well, I suppose it's a transfer of sorts. Poch is lined up to become the next US MNT manager.
Aye.
So when life gives you lemons,
fucking American.
He managed the American national team.
He'll be getting paid a fortune for that.
Yeah. I mean, that is a cushy job after the chaos of Chelsea. Well, you only have to do something every 2 years. You get to live in America, and then you get to manage them through a whole World Cup.
Aye,
that's a pretty cushy job.
Just away in Miami to watch a game.
Yeah,
no bother.
I think he's someone was saying this on another podcast that he's like the highest level of manager that would take that job, or a job of a country that come that low down in the like world rankings, because they're not like top 10 or anything like that. So you'd expect Pochettino would still have a pick of a lot of decent jobs. Inexplicably for me, because I don't think he's done it to merit it. But no, he got Tottenham to the Champions League final once, which I'm sure they released a DVD of. Which says all you need to know about that. Other football news, and the season hasn't even started, and we have to talk about racism. Isn't that great?
How it happened?
Enzo Fernandez and the Argentina team.
Aye, I've seen this.
Yeah, so they were singing a song, basically casting aspersions on the French national team players. Like there's no slurs in it, so I can read it out and it'll be all right. So they play in France, but they're all from Angola. How nice it is they're going to run. Bit racist. They are comitravas, which roughly translates to someone that sleeps with transsexuals or transgenders, which is a bit Mbappe because a transgender model accused him of doing that. And so they're just poking fun at that.
Try me that.
Their mom is Nigerian, their dad is Cameroonian, but in the document, nationality French. So that's what it translates to, what they were singing.
Were they singing this after the Copa America final?
Yeah. I think, you know,
I don't remember them playing France in the Copa America.
I think it must just be harking back to like but they won the World Cup when they played. Like, I don't know.
Why is that such a thing for them?
Honestly, I don't know. And it's obviously disgusting as well. Because like they grew up in France. They want to represent France. Like no one else gets to tell them, no, you can't. Apart from France. Like that's the only people that can tell them not to. And the other thing about it is it's just so hypocritical. Because I don't know if the Argentinian national team players know this, but see all those Spanish surnames, they aren't native indigenous.
Exactly.
Argentine. They're not Mapuche people or something like that. And also, McAllister. That is not a fucking Argentinian surname, is it? So
hopefully the French come out with a song like, "Oh, your granddad's Scottish." Fuck you.
You laugh like a bam in a fucking kitchen at 3 a.m, mate.
You love a half pizza supper.
I do want to make it clear. I don't know if McAllister was involved in this. All we know is that Enzo Fernandez definitely was.
I seen him. Was it no Messi that was trying to drag him away and he was chanting it or whatever?
And I think he went to one of the local teams. I think it was the Boca or River Plate. He went to one of the teams he used to play for. And then when the fans saw him, they started chanting at him and he didn't walk away. So now obviously people at Chelsea, like Rory Jennings, who's a Chelsea podcaster and all that kind of stuff, they're really disappointed in how Chelsea have handled it. Because all they did was give him a fine that he has to pay to charity and make him apologise to his teammates, who are not insignificantly a large number of black French players of African descent. So, like, what the fuck are you telling me? So he's done that and they've done that, and apparently all is forgiven because he was captain at the weekend there.
I was going to say they made him captain.
So I just don't. That doesn't feel like enough to me. I think there should be a bigger punishment to that. And to be fair, a lot of Chelsea fans have come out and said that as well. And it's not a good look for that club because they've got a history of questionable behaviour towards.
Especially their fans.
They're racist. Some of them, allegedly. Anyway, let's get on to what we're actually doing. Let's talk about a season preview.
Yes.
Did you do your table prediction, Patrick?
I did, mate. Aye.
Right. Okay. Like we'll go through the main positions because we don't need to go through them all. Who have you got top four?
Just things get this up.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Top four. I've got Man City first.
Yeah,
obviously, and then Liverpool, then Arsenal, then Aston Villa.
Why do you think Liverpool are going to overtake Arsenal?
I just think they've got more firepower, man.
But they didn't last season, and they've not signed anybody.
Nah, but they have. They scored more goals than yours.
Did they?
If they can sort out their defence.
Which they can.
I think they will.
I've got Arsenal winning it.
Have you got Arsenal winning it? Of course you have.
Well, they went 5 points behind to 2 points back. I know I'm being severely optimistic with this. I just think if they're going to do it, it's this season. Also think that there is a slight chance City get a points deduction.
There's thingy. What is it? A lot of places, City are like 20 to 1 to get relegated, which must tell you something. Because if people are betting on it, then somebody knows something.
Exactly. So I'm thinking they might get a points deduction. They have lost Alvarez, so if Haaland gets injured, they don't really have a backup to him. It doesn't look like they can go out and spend whatever they want at the moment.
Nah. The only player they signed was Savinho
from another City owned team. Troy, I think it's correctly pronounced.
Yeah.
And it's just also, I know they are still that good, but 5 in a row, like it's just insane for the English Premier League. Man.
As much as it bores me to death.
Like, I know. And I know my head actually says that City are going to win it. And realistically, I think City are going to win it. But I think I just have to say this year, I think I'll go with Arsenal. It would break my heart not to back them this year. I think they've improved. Saka in the first game looked unbelievable. We'll get into the matches a bit later. But I'm just going to do it this season. Just going to be optimistic. All last year I was like, nah, Man City are going to win it this year. I'm going to be positive Pedro.
Positive Pedro?
Aye. That'll break down in about 2 weeks' time.
See,
do you know what it'll
let's
stop?
see what you're like in October.
Do you know what will stop next weekend when we play fucking Aston Villa, the only team that beat us twice last year? So that's probably when. Then I've got Liverpool. I think they'll comfortably be third. And who was the other one in your top four?
Aston Villa.
I had Man United. I've got Man United.
Have you got Man U finishing fourth?
Yeah.
Woofed.
I know. I don't know what's going on with me, but
feeling generous.
I don't know. I think I like the signings they've made.
Their keeper's shocking.
The keeper is shocking, but
they've not got a defensive mid.
I don't know. I don't know what's convinced me that. I think also their performance in the Charity Shield, the Community Shield. It's what we called the Charity Shield for about 10 years. The Community Shield.
I still call it the Charity Shield.
Yes.
To be fair, I still call it the Skull Cup.
the milk trophy. It's the Coca-Cola Cup and all.
Coca-Cola Cup.
No, it's I don't know. I think that performance against City, they showed that they had something. They did it in the FA Cup final as well. If they can get Højlund and Xerxes firing, I don't know. I think they could do it. I think they could do it. Especially if they sack Ten Hag at any point. I've got Villa fifth though, so it wouldn't surprise me if Villa finished in fourth. Have you got six?
I've got Newcastle fifth, Spurs sixth.
I've got Newcastle six. I've got Spurs down in ninth.
Have you?
I think they're going to do shite this season because Solanke's not the answer to any question.
Who have you got for your bottom three?
Bottom three, Ipswich, Southampton and Everton.
Oof, I've got Ipswich, Southampton and Forest.
Forest, all right, fair enough. I think they've got too much firepower to go down. I think they're too good going forward.
I would love to see Everton go down, mate.
Just partly on the basis of what we saw at the weekend there, they just can't score.
Horrific.
And they're terrible at defending. So it's that
football play so easy to play against as well.
See, between boxes, like they look half decent. You know, Jack Harrison was very good going forward. Dwight McNeil's a good player. They've got some talent where when they're moving forward with the ball, you're like, yeah, I can see this. They're playing quite well. And then they get in the other box and they shite the bed. And then going the other way, they just can't stop any team from scoring against them. So, sorry, Everton fans. I think you're going to go down. Although it wouldn't surprise me if Leicester go down because, I mean, they're relying on Jamie Vardy and he's, 207 or whatever it is. Again, Brentford could do that. This is the thing, right? This league season is so hard to predict because I'm looking at teams like West Ham and Fulham and Brighton and all that. And I'm going like, yous have got good squads, but yous could finish anywhere between like 8th and 17th. And it wouldn't really be that much of a surprise. And you look at Wolves and Brentford last season, they had decent seasons for them. Bournemouth, Brentford were terrible. And I just don't know what to expect from any of these guys. I'm looking at a lot of teams going, oh, you could do quite well. But they can't all do quite well. Like some of them have got to be shit. So it's really hard to predict. We'll put our two prediction tables up online, and you can tell me how wrong I am because I'm pretty sure I've really buggered this up. By the way, I'm pretty sure.
I'm already fantasizing about Man U being 10th with like 3 games to go.
I know, man. I know. I don't know why I've got such faith in Man U. I genuinely, it's just the last 2 games against City in the FA Cup final and then the Community Shield where I've gone, you know what, I don't think they're as shite as everybody thinks they are. But I guess we'll see. So, right, we'll go on to some other predictions. Top goal scorer, Haaland. Yeah, fair enough. Most assists?
Bernardo Silva.
I've gone De Bruyne, so again, really showing that I probably do think Man City are going to be. Golden Glove?
I might say Raya.
I've gone Raya as well.
I rate him.
More because of the defence in front of him, in my opinion, but Player of the Year?
It'll probably be Haaland.
I've gone Bukayo Saka because if Arsenal are going to win the league, then Saka's probably going to be Player of the Year. Manager of the Year?
Can I get to Pep again?
If he wins 5 in a row, you've got to
I'll
give
go
it to
on
him.
the slot, fuck it.
Well, you think they're going to come second. He probably should get it if they come second. Again, I've gone with Arsenal to win the league, so I've got to then, if Arsenal win the league, Arteta will get Manager of the Year.
Aye.
Because all his little tricks would have worked. I know you'll hate it, but it will work, man.
Getting magicians in and all this.
This is the hardest one for me, signing of the season. Like I said earlier, I think Onana's a good one. I think Minta at Brighton looked very good until we got injured at the weekend.
Yeah.
But I've got the Ligt in there for Man United. I think he'll fix that back four.
So, like, you've taken a risk with Man U. I'm going to take a risk with Solanke being the signing of the season. Just so there's one back.
I mean, I've literally got in my notes here after the Ligt. Even though I'm pretty sure that this will bite me right in my rectum, so I know that I'm probably wrong about the Man U thing, but I've actually got, moving on, I've got Solanke as my flop of the season.
Have you?
I've got him or Kieran Dewsbury Hall, because he sounds like a place you'd host a communion.
Aye.
Dewsbury Hall.
Up that Dewsbury Hall. Surely that's a bar's bar mitzvah you're doing up there.
The Chelsea have just got a habit of ruining midfielders recently.
I was going to say Pedro Neto because Chelsea ruined players.
Yeah, so
60
who
million.
knows? I really like Neto as well.
So they are, but
he's
Chelsea
a good player.
fucking destroy him.
So yours is Neto for flop of the season. We've got shock of the season. So what the most unexpected thing you think will happen?
Do you know what? Everton's staying up.
Even though you've not got them in your bottom three.
Now that you've talked about it.
I've got West Ham to finish above Tottenham in there.
Oh, have you?
Aye. Which Tottenham fans will love. They will think I'm just being bitter because I'm an Arsenal fan. Again, I like Ange, so it's genuinely not. I just don't think you've improved your squad enough despite spending £150 million. First manager to be sacked?
Maresca,
yeah. I've got
100%.
Orange Postecoglou, but I think it will be Maresca. Let's face it.
Nah, he'll be sacked by Christmas.
You got a dark horse team, a team you think will surprise people and overachieve?
Mate, no, really, no. I think it's going to be the same, like top four. Do you know what I mean? It always is.
Well, I've gone West Ham purely because I think they'll finish above teams that you would normally consider better than them. But again, I think I've got them like 8th anyway, so it's not really an overachievement.
It's going to be Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal.
Based on last season and my predictions, Man United, that's my dark horse.
Man United, it's mad that we even describe them as a dark. We even describe them as a dark horse. They're like behind the dark horse.
A horse with a limp.
Aye, they're just going.
That limp is called Harry Maguire.
Yeah, they're going to be an also ran.
Have you got your fantasy leagues team sorted out?
Aye, mate, aye.
But he does, but he was being fashionably late as he always does.
I know, I was
Missed
at the Fringe.
deadline.
I was at the Fringe Flyer and trying to like fucking get my team in.
Do you want to go through your team, or do you want to do that?
We'll go through it next week.
We'll go through it next week. Okay.
So it'll take me forever to load it.
Something to look forward to, guys.
Have we got any class team names this year?
Oh, in fact, I think we've got some decent ones, but we usually run through that at the end. But we can do that now if you want. No, the fucking signal's shite, so I'll just leave that there now. Right, okay, let's go on to the actual games in the weekend then. That's what we'll do. So obviously the biggest one is the lose to Celtic in pre-season derby. It's Chelsea versus Man City.
Celtic put 4 past both of them, mate.
I know.
So
you fucking forget it.
Mugs. The Mug Cup.
That's that's why Arsenal are going to win the league. So Pep versus one of his prodigies, who's had his career escalate big time. Leicester Championship last year, and now he's managing one of the biggest car crashes in world football. So
yep,
it's a bold move from them to put him in place.
Is it though?
Well, it's a bold move.
It's a bold move, isn't
it? Well, why wouldn't it be a bold move?
Because I don't know, because they just go through managers like, fuck, you're going to manage them eventually. Do you know what I mean?
I'll take it.
Everybody's going to manage them eventually.
I'll take the payday, mate. Come on,
I wouldn't be surprised if they brought in Mourinho Mark III. Do you know what I mean?
Just go, Mourinho, you got any wins?
Aye, like, you bowled a turkey yet?
That's such a match made in heaven, him over there in Turkey, man.
Oh, aye, man. Just inciting riots.
Getting his hair and his teeth done as well. I think City looked in control for the majority of the game. Even if they weren't creating a lot of chances in the first place. But then Holland just does what he does.
Yep.
That's his 91st goal in 100 games for Man City.
Amazing.
Like, it's just like that's ridiculous. And obviously we're just so used to the sort of Messi and Ronaldo goal scoring record, but if he stays in the Premier League,
especially if he stays at Man City,
yeah, he's that. Shearer's record's just going to get absolutely ransacked. He's going to run away with it, because that being that close to 1-1 is just mental.
Aye.
And the thing is, he'll go through like 2 or 3 games without scoring,
but then he'll just score a hat trick,
aye, or more,
or a double. Aye.
It's just he's an absolute machine. And this goal was like the perfect example of why he's so good. So he's just waiting at the edge of the box, and then he moves behind the defender, so he has no idea where Holland is.
Aye.
And then he just waits, holds his position, wait till the ball breaks from Bernardo Silva. Then really neat footwork, but just barging cunts at the road. Like it was a complete example of what he's good at, and then he dinks it over the goalkeeper. And
I feel like 3 yards away.
I know. It was just like the complete Haaland goal. And then afterwards he was so bitchy in interviews and all that about Cucurella, because apparently he'd been chanting.
Aye, I've seen all this. I've seen loads of reels
about how he was gonna like bully Haaland and all that.
Cucurella's about this height.
Aye. And lest we forget, before the Euros, Pish.
Aye, like, I know. Aye,
he was absolute dog shit. Very good Euros, but
it was a size 3 shoe. What's he gonna do?
I'd love that to be true.
I wouldn't be surprised.
But yeah,
his wee hooves.
So what Cucurella is just sound.
Aye, just clopping a bit, man.
He then went down with cramp, and Holland just walked by staring at him.
Aye.
Such an iconic image. But like, I think there was a few Chelsea players who were on the wind up with him. Fernandes as well, like stamping on his feet and all that kind of stuff. So don't piss off Holland. It's a bad idea. It's like pissing off Jamie Vardy. You're going to pay for it at some point.
Aye. You're going to get a blue wicked bottle to the back of your head.
I don't know if he drinks anymore, to be fair to Vardy.
Mate, he still necks a Red Bull before and at half time each game.
Aye, that's still what I mean.
How is his heart still going?
I don't know. He must just use all that
tunnel, just like stanking a Red Bull before he plays fucking football.
I think he uses snuffs as well, like, so he just puts them in his mouth and he necks a Red Bull. So he's just
fleeing, aye. Just out there fleeing.
So that maybe that's what he took up when he stopped drinking. I'm sure he did. Jamie Vardy, he's a king shithouse. He's got over 100 goals. I think all of them, and over 100 goals in the Premier League, all scored when he was over 30 or something like that.
Yep.
It's
and
insane,
they played for like pure fucking National League teams.
Yeah, it was National League Fleetwood.
Yeah,
it was the biggest transfer ever for a National League player when he moved to Leicester for £1 million. And then at Leicester wanted to quit and go and become a rep in Ibiza when they were in the Championship, so like a really good level of football. Stayed, won the Premier League, got relegated, got promoted back, and then just
scored again.
Aye.
And he's still wearing wet look gel in 2024, which you've got to rate.
he like, obviously he's got wrinkles and bags under his eyes, but he does look like a wee boy, doesn't he?
Aye.
Like, it's class. And he's such a shithouse. Like, he's getting booed or something like that when he was going off, and then he pointed at the Premier League logo and he went, "I've got one, you've got one."
1-0
to the Tottenham fans. Like, it's just,
he doesn't. I was going to say he looks like a drug dealer, but he doesn't look like the drug dealer. No, he looks like the guy that's in the passenger seat. And, you know,
he's just there in case something kicks off.
Guy, just the other guy.
Who's just sampling the product.
Exactly. Jamie, they never change.
We should. I mean, we do say never change. I'm glad he did change, because in the past he's been done for assault and calling a person of East Asian descent a slur that I'm not going to use. So at least you have changed, Jamie, to an extent. So well done on that.
Stay off the wickets, bro.
Aye, that's very good advice. What else did I want to say about this game? So I was talking about this over the weekend with another football fan about how a lot of if you compare like the strikers and defenders today, it's like completely different to what it was 10, 15 years ago. But I think Holland is the kind of player that you could take from now, drop him into that era with Henry and Drogba and Rooney and all Van Nistelrooy and all those guys, and he wouldn't look out of place there. He could play. I don't think the other 2 or 3 top strikers in the league at the moment could do that.
Nah.
I think he could. I don't think he'd score like 50 goals in a season if Vidic was going through him, but I think he'd still like shine. He'd still look like a top player. So yeah, fair play to him. Chelsea penalty claim, Savinho on the back of Fernandes.
Mate, every game the commentator made a thing about how they're going to use VAR less.
Aye.
So like,
and it showed because they missed a lot this weekend. Oh my god,
mate, it was horrific. Like, so like they went for overusing it to no using it enough already, and they keep like the commentators have obviously been told to push this narrative early doors, and it's stupid, man. Yeah,
I don't know what I think about that penalty in particular.
I don't think that should have been overturned, but they like straight away they were like, "Oh, it won't even get reviewed."
Yeah, but no, I would agree with you. I don't think it is. And Savinho looked decent actually throughout the game.
Aye,
City have like, I know they did this a bit last year with Vardio and Doku, but now they've got Doku. They've had Doku in one wing and Savinho or Savio is he's also known out in the other, and they both just stayed out in the space, and that just stretches the game so much that like they've gone from being this really intricate passing team. You go, right, okay, we're going to swap it out again, just play with wingers.
Yeah,
and you just never know what Pep's going to do next.
Wingers and out striker, and then with his fullbacks he changes all the time.
Yeah,
so like Walker will overlap, but like when he had Zinchenko, he used to go into the midfield. And then when Walker wasn't doing as well going forward, he had Stone stepping out and the fullbacks coming in. Like he always has like something new up his sleeve.
Rico Lewis basically did that at the weekend. He moved out of midfield a lot because he can also play as defensive midfield. Half the time they were with a back three, being honest, at the weekend there. But he just does what he wants, to be honest with you. I think he's only got this is his final year in it. His final year of his contract. He'll probably be off somewhere else at the end of it. But they just change it up. Savinho looks really good. I'd say that he didn't really have an end product, or he was a bit too nervous to try and whip a ball in. He would always look for the safer pass, but he wasn't afraid to take people on and stretch the play. So give him a year under Pep and he'll probably be fucking world class.
Yeah,
the wee dick.
And they did all that with Rodri in the team as well.
I know. Kovacic played brilliantly in there, though. Like,
he
really,
was my
really
fucking
good.
signing of the season last season.
He was, yeah.
I bet he's class this year.
I just didn't want to prove you right. That's what it was, Paddy. No, he was outstanding. The goal at the end that he scored as well, like maybe argue the keeper should be saving it, but it's such a well-struck shot. And the wee bit of skill to get away from the defenders in the first place.
He ran through 240 million worth of midfielders.
Yeah.
Put it in a tap bag.
240 million.
240 million worth of centre mids.
Oh Christ!
And I think they sold him for like 28 or something stupid.
Yeah, he was. I think. He
and
was
he's arguably better than both of them.
Certainly 30 at the most, 30 million at the most, and two. Well, I suppose not really a rival. Who they'd want to be a rival, but Man City probably don't consider Chelsea rivals.
Nah.
Palmer again looked quite good for Chelsea. Obviously, he looked like he was the main threat for them. And then Neto came off and gave them another thing to think about. And so Chelsea did create a few chances. Like it's not like they were completely out of the game. But it just felt the entire match that City had a couple more gears they could go into if they wanted to, and they didn't need to try that hard to beat them. Which is annoying.
Comfortable win.
Yeah, it was. But again, like if Chelsea took some of their chances, it could have been a different day. But that's what they do. They just win. Although Ederson had a couple of shaky moments, I'd say.
He kept getting the ball away.
Which is so unlike him.
But when you're as good as him, like you're like, fuck it. He was probably bored.
You know one where he makes the save and he doesn't quite get a grip of it the first time, and then he does this to like bring it back in and just casually does that with it, and I'm like, you're showing off now. Like the way he just plucks it out of the air, I'm like, that's fucking. I mean, it's brilliant, but like that is just rubbing it into the opposition, you know. With regards the rest of the season, obviously Rodri was missing, Walker was missing, and then they end up winning 2-0. You've got them to be favourites for the league. If I'm being honest with you, they probably would be mine. Do you think when it comes to Champions League, they can put up a fight against this Madrid machine that's been built now.
I don't know, because they didn't start well, did they? They drew 1 each in their first game.
I know,
Against Real Mallorca.
It's just a matter of time before that all clicks into place, surely. And that's their tournament, you know, the Champions League is Real Madrid's. And now they've got Mbappe as well as Bellingham, Hendricks come in.
Vinny Jr.
Vinny Jr. Like, it's
a disgusting team.
Yeah. But again, somehow financially compliant. Anyway, Ipswich versus Liverpool. Salah's haircut. Thoughts?
Mate. Like, guy had like a worse airline than me, and then he's turned up. Man, he's been and done it.
How far away is Turkey from Egypt? Just across the water.
Is it? I don't know.
I had no idea.
Maybe probably fucked that there.
No, I mean, it's probably a good couple 100 miles, but it is across the water. That I can say
across the water. That's like saying America's across the water.
Is it no? But he looked pretty good in the game.
He's dynamite. I love him.
But in more football-related punditry, Ipswich started quite well.
Yeah.
First half, they looked really good. They were getting in Liverpool's faces. They were pressing the shit out of them.
Ed Sheeran was there.
Ed Sheeran was there, who I am not. Just to be clear to that one woman in the garage.
Hi. Well, did you know go as one Halloween as Ned Sheeran?
I did, yeah.
I bet that.
Yeah, so they looked really good, got in the faces. They were like into every 50-50 and were winning a lot of them. They were running tirelessly at that Liverpool defence. And they looked like Luton did it when they were at their best last season. They reminded me a lot of that. But you could tell that they were going to run out of energy.
Oh, big time.
If you don't score when you're in those moments, especially against a team like Liverpool, it's not going to work.
Aye.
And obviously the Championship's like, how many games? 46 games, and then plus any sort of cups that they're involved in.
Did they come up for the playoffs as well?
No, they came up in second place. No, did they win it? No, I thought they might have won it.
I don't know. No, Leicester won it.
Oh, Leicester did win it. Aye, so Ipswich were second. Southampton came up through the playoffs. So they didn't quite have as long a season as Southampton, but they just in the second half, they weren't as quick to the second ball. They weren't as quick to the tackle. They weren't as quick out of the press. And if you give Liverpool a tiny little bit of space, they just exploited it so brilliantly.
They should have been down to 10 men as well.
Who, Liverpool?
No, Ipswich. The boy that was on the yellow for like...
Oh, the handball, Wes Burns.
Aye.
Yeah. Again, I know VAR's not getting involved as much this season, but come on.
No, it literally Kiny
for a yellow card.
Aye, for a second yellow, it won't get involved.
But they saw it and gave it as a free kick for a handball.
Yeah.
So surely they must...
I know, but
unless they thought it was an accident. But
I feel like that's something they should change. Like,
yeah,
if something's a second yellow, get the ref to look at it.
No, 100% agree. 100% agree. And it's something that we probably bored everyone to death with last year because we said it so much. But no, I definitely agree with that. He was very lucky to stay in the pitch. And if they'd gone a man down, they would have been that would have been like 5-6-0. Yeah. But I get once they did tire and Liverpool did have that space, they looked really good.
Aye, Trent looked class in the
second half. that ball through to Salah when he sets up Jota, that was just incredible. Yeah, such a good pass. But I think that this is part of the change that Slot made, because at halftime he took off Kwanzaa and brought on Konate. And Kwanzaa hadn't had a bad game or anything, but I think it was because Konate's a bit quicker, a bit more mobile, he's a bit more used to how they play. And they wanted to move Trent further forward so he could play in that midfield and start playing those passes. And having Konate in there just gave him the freedom to do that. And then you saw that in the second half. A lot of the good stuff started with Trent, or like, you know, being able to have that time in the ball and play those passes. So Slot did actually make a very good like tactical change at halftime that nobody would have really seen coming, because I was a bit surprised that he was making you don't usually sub a centre back off for no reason unless you're losing or he's injured. So I mean, you got to give it to him. That's fair play.
Aye.
What was their second goal?
It was Salah.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's I was like, oh, I must have put him in my fantasy team. I've surely put that. Nope, didn't put Salah in my fantasy team like a fud. Because I reckon this is going to be a good season for him. It's probably going to be his last season, but I reckon it's going to be a good year.
Mate, he's incredible.
Yeah. I mean, the ball from, actually, speaking about passing, the ball from Van Dijk for the second goal, just pinged out from the back, right for, just, Jesus, man. Like, their defence is so good at passing. And they're not afraid to play it long.
Yeah.
That's the thing, like, that one of the main differences that there's always been between this City team and that Liverpool team is that City want to score the perfect goal, Liverpool want to score a million goals.
Like, score more than whatever you score. Aye. For me, that's why Liverpool are always the most entertaining team in the league.
Yeah, I love the passing play that City do, but I mean, there's something to be admired for the sheer chaos that Liverpool bring to a football match, you know. What can we take from this from an Ipswich point of view? Do you think they'll...
Mate, I think they'll be the same as Luton last year.
Like, they'll put up a great fight in games, but...
like scrap, but they'll eventually just
get
relegated.
I can see them getting a lot of 2-1 defeats and things like that. And, like, putting on a really good display and being in a lot of matches, but getting very little from them.
Yeah.
Although they've done some decent business, it should be said. And their manager looks like an elf for Skyrim. So, like, that's always in their favour as well. Kieran McKenna, I think, is actually a good coach. But I think it's... when you go back-to-back promotions, you're basically playing... with a squad that are 2 leagues below the league you're in now.
Aye.
And that can only end one way, really.
I actually said that, like, the start of the game, like, the opening day 2 years ago was against, like, Macclesfield or some shit. Like.
And now they're opening to Liverpool. It's just a shame for them it wasn't at Anfield, because that would have been massive. They made quite a big deal about the fact that Salah has scored on the opening day of 9 seasons. Like, who cares about that? He gets 20.
It's kind of impressive, isn't it?
Well, he gets 20 goals a season, so like it's not that surprising.
But the opening, like, scoring on every opening day for 9 years, that's quite good.
Who cares? I just don't care.
I don't care. Mate, see if it was Saka, see if when it is Saka, you'll be like, oh, that's fucking, he's the GOAT.
He's nowhere near the GOAT. Take Thierry Henry's name in vain like that. No, I just think the reason that I like watching Salah is because he always scores goals. I think the fact that it's on the opening day is like, why is that? Why is that relevant?
I don't know.
He always scores on April 19th. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
I don't care. As for Liverpool, obviously you've got them finishing second, which is mental. What do you think of Slot then?
Don't know. It's hard to say when they beat Ipswich. The real test is when they play Arsenal, Man City, maybe like Villa, Newcastle away.
Funny name though.
I know, it is a funny name.
Arne Slot.
Like, thingy, I want to see this mad tactic that he's got. Have you seen that he's got a kickoff tackles for like really sunny days where like they'll take kickoff and just boot it like vertical, like if the sun's shining into the opposition's eyes, just to stun them a bit. Apparently he scored like throughout his career, he scored like 17 goals in the first minute of games using it.
The Dutch.
I can't wait to see it.
I'd love to see them try it, but I just don't think he'll do it. I think he'd probably be too ashamed to do it in the Premier League.
I want to see it just one time.
Because folks are watching, you know.
Because people are watching. They're watching the fucking Eredivisie fucking second division or whatever.
No, he was Feyenoord manager.
No,
so
was
it? Aye. I think he won them their first title in a good while. So Arsenal Wolves. This is one that used to had a bit of bite in it. Because Wolves used to always say that Arsenal over celebrated, and that caused a bit of tension between the two.
That's right, aye.
I think this was kind of like the City game for me. It was quite routine. Wolves
standard.
created a few chances, but generally speaking,
Arsenal get caught out like playing it for the back.
Aye, they did a couple of times, but again, just first game of the season, rustiness in it, really.
Aye.
Like
they should be alert. They've been fucking.
I know,
they've had their
pickpocketed.
keys stolen, so
I know,
they should be on it.
We didn't learn when that was, because that could have been like 2 years ago, and it's only.
It doesn't matter when it was, mate. It's still brutal.
It does, because maybe he's not done it enough recently.
Aye.
And now they're getting sloppy. They're maybe that's why they were good last year. You need to start robbing them again, Mikel. That's all I'm saying. Don't know why.
What happens if one of them gets their phone nicked when they're just out and about?
Well, then
and then they're going to be like,
they weren't alert enough.
Get Mikel on the phone, like, and he's like, no, it wasn't me this time. Like, fucking whiz.
What Arsenal players say? Fucking whiz.
Fucking whiz, right?
Could have been in your gaff.
That's the way Kai Havertz talks.
Partey looks pretty good, which is nice to see.
Yep.
Him looking like a player again, because he's just always injured. Great work from Saka from the opening goal, but you've got to say the defending was awful.
Aye.
Like, because you know he's going to want to come in on his left foot. That's what he prefers. It's his better foot. So show him down the wing.
Yeah.
But they were like further away from him than you are, the two defenders, to me. Like, and you're just like, well, one, get close to him. I know you're afraid of his pace, but there's two of you there. One, get close, one, watch the run. And they just stood off, and he was like, all right, fine, I'll just ping this in. And then Havertz gets like an easy header into the back of the net.
I think Havertz may have a good season this year.
I know.
Centre forward.
I know, man. He had a good Euros. He had a good end to last season. Which is why the Arsenal fans have that song. You know, it's to the tune of the Waka Waka South Africa World Cup song.
The best football tune ever.
I preferred Waving Flag, but that's just me.
What's that?
The other South Africa World Cup song. Yeah, when I get older, I'll be
think that was the best. So I'm saying the greatest football song ever. You're like, was he
the best one for that World Cup
tournament?
But no, so it's like it goes that Waka Waka 60 million down the drain. Kai Havertz scores again.
Yeah.
So like, it's just a kind of a response to Chelsea fans are like, you fucking idiots. But
Chelsea ruined players.
Yeah, and Arsenal seem to be recuperating them. So
there
you go, Chelsea. If you want to pawn off your players and us, we'll make them good again.
You've been doing that for years, though.
And we've also, but in the past, we used to do the exact opposite. Like take Willian and ruin him.
Just David Luiz for no reason.
Oh God, what a keeper he was, man. But yeah, Havertz looks good. Hopefully he can keep up that form from the end of last season in the Euros. Wolves did create a couple of chances. And just for everyone that thinks I hate Raya, I'm going to compliment him. That save from, whose header was it? The cross comes in from the right, and who's the guy that gets the header, and then he has to go back. Raya has to go back across his own body to make
when
the
he's
save.
off balance.
Aye, it was Hwang's cross. I remember that much. I can't remember the new striker's name. I think it's something Norwegian. Jorgensen.
Is that you having a crack at it? Sounds legit, mate.
Somethingson. Yeah, he's somebody's son, and it's a brilliant header. Like he does everything right with what he should do with the ball.
Yeah,
and Raya's reflexes to get back across, to make the save, and not just make the save, but keep his eye on the ball, know exactly where it is, so he can then go and recover it.
Raya wears really massive gloves, by the way. They look massive.
Could it be he's got big hands?
Maybe. But they look,
he's just wearing gloves.
They look especially giant. Maybe he's got those big foam fingers. He used to put half strikers. He's packing his gloves.
So that's another Arteta policy.
Yeah, he's got 6 pair of magic gloves on underneath. Like, just these giant goalie gloves.
Will scare the opposition. Some of the football Arsenal playing were really nice. It's the best game I've seen Zinchenko have in a long time.
Yeah,
because he looked a bit off it last season, and him coming forward with the ball into midfield, like you were talking about earlier, he looked properly good at that again. Which will piss off Calafiori. Oh, now you find form again, just as I come in. It was good to see Timber as well, because he got injured very early on last season. Didn't get to see a lot of him. Made a couple of mistakes, but you know, he's young and new to the league, so that will happen. Now we get to another refereeing incident where Mosquera decided he would test how kinky Kai Havertz is.
I know, that was mental, wasn't it?
Right, Kai Havertz does foul him, and then in the motion of falling back, he goes, I know what I can do. I can put my hand round his throat, and people just think I'm trying to balance myself. But he's looking right in his eyes as he does it. He's clearly just strangling him. And I don't get how I know VAR's not supposed to get involved that much this season, but he's choking a guy. Like,
I know, like, what did he do?
Should we tell him about that? Nah, it's fine. I'll just leave him. Just don't worry about it.
Maybe Kai Havertz in it. He's German. He's like spitting my mouth. Fuck it.
That's all. So I was going to say that's the only way they could justify it, is if they just lip read Kai going harder, daddy.
Aye, exactly. He's got a semi.
Spitting my mouth.
just got a wee circle around his semi. He's obviously into it, so it's fine.
Fucking hell, man. It's a blatant red card, and it is mind blowing how VAR didn't get involved in that. I mean, the fact that we might have to hopefully have time to talk a bit about Newcastle in a bit, but the fact that Shar, who puts his head like there to Brereton Diaz, gets a red card for violent conduct, but Mosquera can choke a man and get nothing is, I don't know. I think we need to reassess what violent conduct is. Because people square up to each other like that in Glasgow all the time, and most of them don't get arrested. That's what I'm saying. Like, so I'm saying.
Coben put his head against 4 audience members across the 3 shows that I seen him yesterday. Like going head to head.
Don't take that as normal behaviour. If you don't know Coben, he's a special guy. He's a maniac, but we love him. He wants to come on the pod even though he doesn't like football. He's like, I'll just have a guess.
I'll just have a guess and talk about ice hockey.
Hey. Is there anything else from this game? I don't think Wolves were particularly bad. They were just up against a better team. Yeah. And if you had both Havertz and Saka in your fantasy team, you would have had a great weekend because they both scored and both assisted each other, which is exactly what Arsenal fans want to see. Wolves, I reckon they'll be all right. Don't think they'll trouble relegation, but I don't think they'll be in the. I don't think they'll be in the top half either. Right, quick word on Man U Fulham. United actually looked quite good at the start. Leno made some big saves, particularly from Fernandes. One from Mount as well. They're playing some decent football, but keeper was just better than them.
Yeah.
And Fulham actually created a lot of chances on the counter attack as well.
Oh, I made a couple of belter saves as well.
I know.
As much as I usually slag them, but...
you did like 10 minutes ago when I said they were going to get in the top 4. They still have, obviously not all their new players were playing, they still have a huge weakness in that central midfield position. As much as I've loved Casemiro earlier in his career, he's not that player anymore.
Nah.
And they need to do something about that because... every time Fulham countered, they looked like they could score.
Yeah.
What did you think of Xerxes' goal?
It was all right.
I was hoping you'd talk about more so I could have a drink.
It's a decent finish, but like they should have had the game to bed before that.
But okay, we'll get on to the one you mentioned earlier then. Garnacho.
Oh, the sitter, mate.
Ibelimel scale?
It's like a 3.5 because the game was already won. It was like the 97th minute.
There's a lot more depth to this scale than I thought there was.
He was kind of half balance as well. Like, I don't think he was expecting the pass. Like, Rashford should have just... Like, he probably did the right thing passing it, but you would expect Rashford to just hit the shot. So I think he was half balance. So I would give it a 3.5.
I think it's worse than that.
You think it's higher than that?
I think it's worse than that. Just because, especially with how good Garnacho was last season, you'd expect more from that position. And also the game wasn't absolutely done. Really,
I know, I bet. Like,
it was nearly done.
If it was 0-0, I would have gave it a lot higher.
Okay, there you go. So, lesson learned, Garnacho. Stop being shy. Is there anything else to say about this? No, Fulham were decent, but they didn't really deserve to win it. Created a few chances. Man U looked exposed at the back, but De Ligt wasn't on. Lenny Yoro was obviously out, and they do need a defence midfielder. If they can bring that in, I think they'll be all right. Obviously, because I've weirdly predicted them fourth, which
that's nuts.
I don't really believe myself. Leicester versus Spurs. Spurs were knocking on the door for a lot of this game, created a lot of chances, but eventually it was Maddison's excellent pass through.
Porro,
to Porro, aye. I actually said at the time, that's a brilliant header, but I think he's actually shouldered it in. Or as you would say, shouldered.
Shouldered, mate.
He shouldered it in. Aye.
Scored a few shooters my time myself.
No, quite like Balotelli shooter, you know.
No,
that's how you shooter a ball. But no, it was a great ball from Maddison.
Aye.
He's going to be a big player again for them this year
if he can stay fit.
Hopefully, for Tottenham's sake, Ange does the reverse of what he did last season. So first 3 months he was good, won Manager of the Month awards. And then they kind of tapered away. So maybe first 3 months he'll be shite, and then they'll go back up.
They'll get better.
But I just can't see it. I don't think they've got. I just don't see any standout players in their team anymore, other than Son.
Aye.
I think that there's a lot of weaknesses. Maddison's decent, but he's out a lot. He's not there like 38 games a season like some other big team players are. And Kulusevski, again, good player, but he's off and out injured. So
Romero's always a red card waiting to happen.
Yeah.
Keeper's good.
Yeah, keeper's decent. He made a couple of big saves and then bollocked an 18-year-old.
That's right, aye.
a poor child, man.
Aye, that guy looked fucking well young as well.
His first game for it, but he also looked like he didn't give a shit.
Aye.
I suppose as far as goalkeepers go, Vicario's not imposing. He's not a physically intimidating man, is he? And it was Big Vards.
Aye.
Back in the Premier League scoring
Chat
goals.
shit, get banged, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. And he could have won it for them as well if it wasn't for Vicario. He had a chance
save
later on. And if it wasn't for an injury that happened to, I think it was Ben Tanker, that really interrupted Leicester's flow. They could have got a couple more goals because they looked for a period after they scored, like they could go on to win the game.
Yeah.
But, I think a draw was probably a fair result because Spurs just didn't do enough to win it in the end. Solanke had two really good chances.
Smacked him at the goalie.
Straight at the goalkeeper. Just saying. West Ham Villa. That was a really good game, actually, West Ham Villa. Two teams that I think will do quite well this season. Bailey, fuck me, he's fast, isn't he?
Aye, he's rapid, man.
That when he blitzed through and
hit a post.
Aye, like, geez. I can't do it that quick. I can't stand up as quick as he ran 100 metres, man. Like, especially at my age.
It took me 12 seconds to watch him run for 10.
The West Ham penalty. Villa weren't happy about a penalty for you.
Aye.
The legs got tangled and people can say, oh, it's an accidental coming together. It's in the penalty area. You've stopped him getting to the ball.
It looks like he was doing a fucking jiu-jitsu move on him, mate. Like, he had him pure wrapped up. Like.
I think that as well. I thought it was a penalty, but a lot of the pundits were like, no, that's not a penalty. And I'm like, you've stopped him getting to the ball by making contact with him.
I know, just making contact, like
wrapping him up.
Looked like you were fucking stripping on him. Like.
So I mean, it was a great penalty from Paquetá as well. Like, it was a really good finish. Was that was the first goal, wasn't it? Or was
that was equaliser?
Equaliser, but Villa got the first goal with Onana from the corner.
Yeah,
4 minutes in. He's a lot taller than I thought he was.
He's a fucking unit, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a big old boy, and it was a really good header, great cross as well. And Villa looked quite solid for a lot of that game. And then when West Ham got the goal, they looked good. It's a good indication of that being a battle for position all season between the two of them. Danny
Ings had a good chance.
Yeah.
But his fucking third hair transplant took the momentum out of the ball. Have you seen his fringe, mate?
Yeah.
It looks like the brushes get on the inside of letterboxes. It's mental, mate.
It's not so much a cushioned header, it was a brushed header.
It was a brushed header, mate.
But I mean, I think these two teams will probably they won't be far off each other in the league. It was a really good
competing
game.
For Europa League, Conference League places.
A lot of back and forth. And I think both of them will be all right. I think both will be comfortably top half and have good seasons. Jared Bowen being the West Ham captain now as well, because the old cat kicker is on his way out, it looks like.
Big Kurt Zuma.
He will be missed.
I might get him up with Gaff. My cat's been shitting everywhere.
I don't think he'd be able to kick Gary. Just look at him and go, he's daft wee face.
Stupid wee face.
Just to be clear, Paddy does love his cat.
Yeah.
He doesn't condone anyone kicking him.
I'm the Kurt Zuma of the Scottish comedy circuit.
It's not over that door. It was good second goal for Villa as well. Duran's finish was nice. Good pass and play before it. Martinez made some big saves. But just to show how even a game this was, right? 51-49% possession, 14 shots to 15. Both had 3 on target, which isn't brilliant finishing, but it just shows it is a really tight game.
Both get the same home colours.
Yeah, exactly. Claret and blue. I just feel sorry for Moisey. I mean, he's going to be watching that going, oh, fuck, I'm not getting my job back.
Nah, he's not getting it.
Lopetegui did a good job in his first game. So, yeah, should be a good season for both of them. Now, the Shearer derby.
Quick word in the old Newcastle game before we go.
Yeah. So, or one of the Shearer derbies, I should say. Southampton started quite like Ipswich, pressing a lot, getting in Newcastle's faces. And Newcastle looked a bit sloppy from the start, like they weren't expecting it.
Mate, it was tasty.
Aye.
Like, there was
this was a
challenges.
violent game,
I
man.
enjoyed it.
And then when Brereton Diaz did that just sort of lit another
The
spark.
classic, put your head like just gently on somebody.
Aye, and he threw himself to the ground. Yeah, that I really think that's it. That's if you go up and do that and you don't actually make a headbutt motion, I think that should be a yellow card.
Yeah.
And there's actually a very good case that Diaz should have been sent off in that situation because he was booked for making the tackle on him in the first place, and then he dives, he simulates, he cheats. So I love that Big Dan Burn just went
Mate, how narrow's Newcastle's tunnel, by the way?
Aye. Oh, I don't know who the player was for Southampton that looked at 6'7" Dan Burn from Blythe missing part of his finger and went, I could take him. That is the stupidest decision. Even just the from Blythe part of that
I didn't know he's got part of his finger missing.
Yeah, he's got part of his finger
I wouldn't
missing.
be surprised if it was like a wasp that stung him and he couldn't be fucked with anymore. Big Dan. And then Big Joe Linton pops up with a winner. Easy work.
Yeah, man. Big Uncle Joe.
Uncle Joe
What's she like? But I mean, that was Southampton shooting himself in the foot.
Oh, terrible result.
McCarthy, who again can't believe is still playing like top flight football. I suppose he only just is back in the top flight, but he just gave it away so easily.
Aye.
He's actually like, well, there's Uncle Joe right in the middle, unmarked.
Aye.
It's a good finish from him as well.
Aye.
It was a good goal from their point of view. But no, it was a really spicy game. Pope had to make some good saves. Lewis Hall made an excellent block as well off the line to keep Newcastle in it. But that's the kind of result where you get a man sent off, you're
After
second
28
best.
minutes,
Aye, exactly. And you end up second best for the rest of the game and you manage to hold on and win. That's a really big thing. That can do wonders for morale and all that kind of stuff. Like if you win a real slugfest, a battling slogfest, not a slugfest.
A slugfest.
Slugfest 2K24.
Aye.
It's just a festival full of slugs.
Just
I don't know.
like when you move a wheelie bin after it's been raining.
Yeah, there we go. That's a sign that we should wrap this up soon. We'll do one quick word on Everton Brighton. Familiar feeling for Everton fans.
Yeah.
Because they, like we said earlier, played all right between the boxes and then just shat the bed in both boxes. I don't think Brighton deserved to win this 3-0 personally, but
was it no 4-0?
It was 3-0. No, they got the other goal got ruled out.
Oh, was it?
But that being said, if you let Danny Welbeck score against you, I think you deserve whatever you get.
Mate, he's still gone, man.
He is.
There was so many players in that game that were still gone.
That's not
Ashley Young, James Milner.
Ashley Young, 39-year-old, playing at left back, gets sent off. What a fucking surprise.
Yeah.
He was 8 years older than the Brighton manager, who's 31. James Milner is 37.
Yeah, that's his
23rd season, so it's a new record. But he's what? No, he might be 38. He's 37 or 38. So he is at least 6-7 years older than his own manager.
Yeah.
Lewis Dunk's older than his own manager. The captain is
but you're saying you're a dick.
Again, that's exactly how Lewis Dunk talks.
Yeah.
So it's insane from their point of view. It must be wild to try and get all that under control. But I mean, if they listen to you, then brilliant, you know. But he worked wonders with St. Pauli, getting them back up to the Bundesliga. So it's a bit of a risk for Brighton, but if they can play like that and score goals. Minter looked really good before he got injured. Surprised he didn't get a game in Newcastle if he's capable of that.
Newcastle always had good wingers, mate.
I know, but he could
Signing Gordon.
He could end up being better than Miggy. Biggie than Metter.
Biggie than Miggy.
Better than Miggy. He could be. So it could be a very good sign for them, especially with Matoma on the other one, who is still brilliant. So. I don't know if there's anything else to say on this other than Everton are really are at risk and Dyche might not be enough this season.
Nah.
So on that happy note for Evertonians, we'll probably wrap it up there.
Yep.
We'll be back every week if we can, gigs permitting. to do this over and over and over again for the rest of the season.
Yep.
We're both as amazed as you that we're actually back here doing it again this season.
Yeah, no.
And we may have some more bonus stuff coming your way very soon. So keep listening out for that. And in the meantime, it's goodbye from Patrick.
Goodbye.
And goodbye from me. Stay fresh, cheese bags.